Good Sunday morning. We are back with Inside Tennessee, and we have Dino Cole. He's an Knoxville attorney. We wanted to hear from him. We've heard from Bud Armstrong and Clarence Pridemore already. So, Mr. Cole, we're glad to have you with us, and I'm keenly interested to hear why you want to be the next Knox County Chancellor. Go for it.
Thanks, John. Yes, I'm Dino Cole. I'm a graduate of the Citadel, Charleston, South Carolina. I've been practicing in Knoxville for 25 years, and I've done a great deal of my practice in Chancery Court, and I'd like to put my 25 years experience on the bench. I'm the only candidate that has actually argued and won cases in the Courts of Appeal and in the Tennessee Supreme Court. I am also someone who has argued cases in the federal courts. I'm a trained mediator. I'm the only one that's a Rule 31 listed mediator in this race. I've done at least 1,000 mediations. I know what it's like to represent a client. In my last check, I had 4,000 clients in my database that I've represented over the years, in those 25 years. And I would say that the Supreme Court had trusted me to be a hearing officer for the lawyer disciplinary matters, so I've actually had to hear cases regarding when a lawyer is charged with ethical disputes, and I've actually heard order protection cases as a special master. And finally, I take great pride that our peers here of the Knoxville Bar Association ranked me the highest in the Knox County Bar Association survey for who they believe should serve in this role on the bench in Chancery Court.
Mr. Cole, thank you. You raised a topic, I guess you're just reading my mind, because that's a great segue. We were going to talk about the bar poll, which I think you're alluding to. Knoxville Bar Association did a poll of its members, which is attorneys. I think more than 480 took part in it, and there are ratings for various judicial positions, including the three of you seeking this job. Mr. Cole, of the three fellows here, you had the best ratings. It looks like if it's a weighted average of 234, and it looks, or pardon me, 293, and it looks like more than half of those who were surveyed said they would recommend or strongly recommend you. So I'm just curious what you think that reflects. We've got two other folks who are attorneys as well. Why do you suppose you stand out?
I think people know my reputation as an attorney, my ethics. They also know that I have the experience representing people in court and what it's like to go through court as an attorney, and when you could potentially lose your children in a custody issue, you could potentially lose your business in a business lawsuit. And because I've had the experience drafting motions and arguing cases and trying cases in court, more than both my opponents, by far more than both of my opponents. That's why the attorneys want to trust somebody that gets it right, because the judge's role is to be impartial and determine the law and the facts and apply it in a fair manner. And I believe that's why the Bar Association has the most confidence in me to serve in that role.
Thank you, sir. Chancellor Pridemore, let's turn to you. The lawyers have had 7.5 years to watch you at work. I will tell you, some people were very surprised when you won in 2014, but I have also talked to attorneys who I know here in town who say, hey, he's turned out to be okay. He was not, for being a newbie, if you will, he has not been a bad chancellor. He's been a pretty good guy. You get about it looks like about a 234, as I mentioned earlier, and there are roughly, it looks like about 40% who either recommend or strongly recommend you for this position. So I'm curious, sir, your thoughts on the bar. Fair, unfair, what do you think?
I think it's fair, but I think you should remember when someone comes to court, there's always a winner and always a loser. So I think that sometimes influences people's opinion about the judges because of the way the outcome is the case a lot of times. But you do make people mad sometimes, and people don't like it, but that's what happens.
Thank you, sir. And Bud, let's turn to you. You and I have known each other for a while. You were law director for 8 years. I'm going to tell the viewers that of the survey, the number is a little bit critical for you. It says that Well, it looks like it's about roughly 15% of the lawyers polled would strongly recommend or recommend you. Kind of a tough number for you, and I'm curious your thoughts about that. Have you just made everybody so mad because you're doing a good job, or what's going on, do you think?
Well, John, number one, I did not solicit any votes or call for any votes from the Knoxville Bar Association in the survey. My record is pretty strong against most of the litigators in the Bar Association, and they know that I'm very conservative. While I was the Knox County Law Director against that group of lawyers, we won over $20 million in judgments and settlements, which generally won't make people happy. We won another $2.5 million in false claims against those same attorneys. We reduced the settlement cost, which is not very good in terms of bar attorneys, by $2.25 million. We reduced the outside counsel expense, meaning I didn't hire them to make friends and get votes, in the tune of about $3.75 million. And most of the expenses related that was going to some of the outsides when we became the tax attorney, that reduced the outside flow of money from the county by about $2 million. So most of the time and most of the legal actions that we did as law director was to save the taxpayer money, which adversely impact a lot of the Bar Association's expectations in terms of revenue as private attorneys. So I never once thought that I would have a very high rating from the bar, because we've been adversaries for 8 years, and their experiences with myself as well as the attorneys in the Knox County Law Director's office, they haven't been able to reap the revenues that they were used to getting over the years. So I guess that's the kindest way to put it, John.
Bud, thank you. We appreciate that, and we appreciate the other two answers as well. We're going to take another break. You may be thirsty and want some coffee, but come back. We're coming back with Inside Tennessee.